This is highly intelligent. I don't know if you've are familiar, but I've had a couple of beatboxers in the past.
I've seen a clip with Pac Max. I didn't actually see the whole episode, but I saw the clip
I see.
where you guys
Saw.
were talking about like super on topic stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So what got you started with beatboxing?
Well, initially it was. Let me think. Actually, I think initially it was So Close to Toast. Are you familiar with So Close to Toast?
I I'm not familiar,
So
but
Close to
I'd
Toast,
like to learn more.
dude. So Close to Toast is or was, I don't know what he'd rather me say, but a YouTuber that used to beatbox on Call of Duty lobbies all the way back in day.
I see.
And yeah, he used to pop out. He used to get like loads of views. I don't think he does it anymore, but yeah, that was the first time. It must have been like 2011, 12, something like that.
I got started 'cause a couple of my friends were just jamming, and I thought it was pretty cool. And we watched a bunch of beatboxers on YouTube, and then we went down to Pittsburgh and took a workshop with Vocoder, Napalm, and Villain, and
Okay,
I was just hooked from there.
that's dope. So how
Yeah.
long you beatboxing? How many years?
Um, I think I started like late 2019,
Okay,
so a little over 4 years. Yeah.
that's a good amount of time.
You're interested in Bionicles.
I'm interested. Interested is lightly put, my friend. Interested is
I
poorly
see.
said. I fucking love Bionicles.
Solid.
Yeah.
I've never really been familiar with Bionicles until recently.
Unbelievable. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay, you should. Come on, shame. You should have a
Well,
little bit of
well,
Bionicle knowledge.
I was more into the Lego bricks, the
Yeah.
building blocks. But
Yeah, I
I
see.
am familiar with some Bionicles, but I wasn't familiar with the lore until recently, and it runs deep. I did not expect it.
Yeah, I know, right? That's like the best part. The best part is that the lore runs deep.
Yeah.
How did you find it? What did you like what how did it
So I searched Bionicles lore on YouTube,
Yeah.
and there were three options. There was a 4 minute video, which I figured was probably too short. Then there was a 9 hour long video,
Yeah, the
which
the
went
full
over everything.
the full lore, yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a 48 minute video. And I figured I didn't have time for the 9 hour video. So I watched the 48 minute video.
You actually watched it?
Yeah.
I love that. I love
And
that.
and it runs deep.
Yeah, it does run deep.
So what got you into Bionicles?
Oh, what got me into but dude, I just kind of grew up. I don't know. The first Lego set I think I got that was actually my own because I got like secondhand Legos from people who weren't like into Legos anymore. Thinking back on it, it was probably like a bunch of vintage stuff that probably costs a lot of money now, but I ate half of it. Um, so I got my first Lego set was it was the I'm just trying to remember which one exactly it was. If I'm not mistaken, it was the it must have been Toatahu. It must have been second wave Toatahu. If you know, you know, right? For the people out there. But yeah, and then ever since then I just loved it so much. It was such a sick set. The molding was great, the playability, the posability, everything. I just loved it. So I just kept asking my parents for more, and then I don't know, now I have too many.
So you do you have them all on display somewhere?
Not quite. They're all in a box. They're all somewhere tucked away in a box. I just don't have space to display them. It's too much. I still love them, but
That's
I just
fair.
don't have space. Yeah.
I've been trying to buy more Legos recently. I wanna have I don't know if you're familiar with Lord of the Rings,
Yes.
but Barad-dûr is I want that tower.
Yeah, yeah. That's the one where that's the one where Gandalf got fucked up in. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saruman fucked him up in that tower. Yeah.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, the first Bionicles movie was basically Sam and Frodo.
Did you watch the first Bionicle movie?
No, but I watched a recap of it,
Yeah.
and
It's a cool.
and it was it two little dudes find a golden mask,
Yeah,
and then they go on an adventure, and then they whipped out some Power Rangers shit where they turned into the Green Ranger and became the most
Yeah, the
important
Toa.
one of all.
Yeah, he became
Yeah.
the Toa of Light. Yes, he did. Takua did. But yeah, the Bionicle movie is an absolute masterpiece. Okay, the first one is questionable. Okay, in its quality, I can admit that.
Yeah, yeah.
The second one is a little bit better, but there's lapses in like lore.
There's more of a story arc in the second one.
Right, and the third one is the best. The third one is sick.
I'll have to watch the actual movie sometime. I think they're all on YouTube.
Yes, they are all on YouTube. For your own sanity's sake, I probably wouldn't watch the first one unless you're like,
I see.
a proper fan. The Web of Shadows is probably worth a watch if you really care after this for some reason.
Solid. Okay.
Before you ask me, I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite Lego set?
Oh man.
Do you have one?
I have a couple.
I don't mean like physically. I mean like your favorite.
The Lord of the Rings Barad-dûr. I mean, it's just
Okay.
It's just so amazing.
That's
and
fantastic.
I just like all the Lord of the Rings sets, honestly. I've been really into the lore of that lately. I bought a big old book that has everything inside of it. I've been trying to get really into that.
That's sick. That's dope. Have you
Yeah.
read The Hobbit and stuff?
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
what I started with. And
Yeah, same.
right now I'm about halfway through the Fellowship,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a long way to go, but I'm working my way through it.
How did you find the beginning of the Fellowship?
Oh, it's definitely very drawn out, but in a good way.
It's like so descriptive.
Yeah, they only traveled like, I think it was like 10 miles in the first half of the book,
Yeah,
and so much happened. It was crazy.
it do be like that.
Have you read any other books, or are you into anything else?
I used to read a good bit when I was a little bit younger. Now not so much. I definitely should. Reading is good for you. But I used to be into like into creepypastas and stuff, like horror, like indie horror and stuff like that, but not so much anymore.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know, making beats with my face.
You got first, right? For GBV this year?
The wildcards, yes, the wildcards.
Yeah, yeah. So how did that feel? What was the build up for that?
I don't know how to describe it. I think it was like a relief, because I was hoping to get in the year before, and I didn't. And I was like, oh, damn. I was gonna be like, okay, as long as I get in, I'm chuffed. Like, I'm super happy as long as I get in. And then like, 8th place and it wasn't me, and then 7th place and it wasn't me. And it's like 6th place and it's not me, and I'm like, shit. Oh no. And then it comes up to 2nd place and it's Ice. And then the whole chat is just like, Osis, gonna be Osis. I'm like, it fucking better be me. It better be me. And then it was. So it was chill. I was like, woo. Yeah. So that's nice.
What inspired Cash?
To be honest, there wasn't like a direct inspiration from anything else. I think I had just had a freestyle on my phone from I was trying to come up with an elimination for like an online tournament ages ago, and I had the very rough idea of it just recorded on my phone, and I desperately needed an idea for the wild card, and I was just looking through my recordings, and I found it, and I was like, okay, it'll be this one.
Solid.
So, nothing special.
I mean, it worked pretty well.
True.
So what's your training regimen for beatboxing? Or do you have one?
I have one. Do I stick to it is a different question.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, realistically, it can be convoluted. So at this point in time, coming up to the Grand Beatbox Battle, I'm mostly just working on ideas. So, like fleshing out the ideas for rounds I would have that I would want to use. But in general, to improve at beatboxing, I would separate my days into things I'm working on. So say I want to work on, a specific technique or whatever. I would dedicate that day to training that technique specifically, and then obviously the freestyle around throughout the rest of the day is its own kind of thing. And I would make it, I would delegate different techniques and different aspects of beatboxing to different days throughout the week that I would practice. I think this is probably the most efficient way to train, because you can't practice everything at the same time every day. That's not realistic. So yeah, I think segmenting it is smart.
Pac-Max was saying that when you're training routines, it's not about like training the things that you know well, because you can already do that. It's about focusing on the parts that you can't execute as well, because if you execute those parts that are harder to do on stage, then the rest is just going to come so easily.
Right. I think we work a little bit differently, me and him, in terms of how we approach it. I definitely have a lot more loose approach when it comes to beatboxing live, especially when it comes to the tournaments I've been doing lately. I think it will be less so at the Grand Beatbox Battle. I will definitely have everything rehearsed. But for battles that don't really carry much weight behind them in terms of, be it prize money or be it prestige, whatever you want to call it, I probably prefer to have my freedom a little bit more. Like, I will have the routine or whatever, but then I like to reach into freestyle and into responding to the opponent and stuff like that. I enjoy that kind of stuff. So having everything perfectly thought out and executed, like, robotically, I don't really resonate with that so much.
I see. Okay. I think you might just be the opposite of collapse then.
Yeah, but in the same way as napalm is the opposite of collapse, because collapse is perfectly calculated every time, and napalm probably doesn't even know what he's gonna do seconds before he does it.
It's all about the different styles.
Yeah, for sure.
How would you describe your style?
It's a difficult question. I don't know. Technical, but I try to put a little flavor on it, a little seasoning on it. You know what I mean? I try to put a little style on it, and then, just show off the technical ability. But that's what I enjoy. My style is what I like.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of preparation do you think you're gonna do for GBB?
It's going to be. I want to show a lot of new stuff that people haven't heard, because I've been very active in the battle scene for the past 3 years. I've been doing every single battle I can get my hands on, so people know my material. So a lot of it is going to be new, but that also comes with the challenge of you have to make new stuff, but not just so it's new. It also has to be better than the previous, and that's really hard to gauge, especially when you don't really have the time to test it, and when you don't have somebody to kind of give you the feedback on it. I don't like getting feedback from other beatboxers on my stuff, because that it gives influence of their style onto mine. So I don't like doing that. I've done it before and it's not worked out for me. So I just mull over it in my own little corner until it's done.
That's definitely an efficient way to get things done. I mean,
maybe
it works for you, so
yeah.
I mean, we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you're most worried about at GBB? Who's your biggest competition?
Most worried about? To be honest, my arch nemesis, Black Roll. Definitely Black Roll. 100%.
Pac-Max said the same thing. That's also his arch nemesis.
Yeah. Well, they've been going back and forth with kind of Pac Max and Black Roll, like in terms of who wins. I just lose to Black Roll all the time.
I
so
see. I see.
so there's not really like there's not a rivalry. I just lose. But hopefully on the big stage, I'll pull it out of the bag. But we'll see. But yeah, in terms of people I
Yeah,
don't want to battle, it's him.
I see. Okay. So do you have any like stage techniques planned outside of beatbox? Like what's your style on stage?
Um, I mostly just kind of, I mostly get in my own bubble, kind of get in my own zone. I like to I like to have in my head as I'm performing, I am as what I'm doing and as I'm performing it. In the moment, it's the best shit that can ever be heard by a human being ever. Like that's what's going on in my head. I'm like, this is the best thing
I see.
anybody could ever hear, ever. Right? And then that way the aura kind of resonates with the listener more so that way. But yeah,
Yeah, if you're feeling it yourself, the audience is definitely gonna feel it.
exactly. But when it doesn't happen, when you go out there and try to perform and it just doesn't quite connect in that way, it's so obvious straight away. People are like, that was off, dude. And I'm like, fuck you. I know.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
I've had some podcast experience fumble, and I've it's always about like, do you pursue it, or do you take a step back and rethink it, you know? Cuz you
Right.
never know if it's going to I feel like it can be applied across all mediums.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't know if it's going to follow through and become something. Like even with learning a new sound.
Even with say the new sound example, even if you're doing something wrong, so
Yeah.
say you're not doing it the way it's perhaps supposed to be done by the book, through your mistakes you could find a new way. You know what I mean? And through the mistakes, say you're trying to learn, a sound and you've been doing it wrong the whole time, but you find a new texture through that and you develop that texture. You've created a whole new sound just by doing it wrong, like a numpty. And I think that can also be applied
I
to
see.
everything else. It's just doing things your own way. There's no right or wrong, I don't think.
So, when you are developing
Sorry.
when you're developing a drop, you're good. Uh, do you think of like how do you structure your drop sounds? Do you cuz I've taken some lessons with vocoder and remix, and they vocoder tends to think of it in like stacks. So a one stack is just like a, and then a two stack is like a, and so forth, just like multiple sounds on top of each other. How do you like to think of your drops when you're building them?
I think I look at it more so as it has to be impactful, right? That's the point of a drop. If you're looking at it as especially for a battle round, it has to be impactful. So the energy switch has to be sudden. So I make sure I look at what I have previously within the routine, and I make sure the energy, there is a contrast. So there's like a click, right? So the energy ascends. In terms of what I think about sounds wise, I don't I don't really focus on sounds or the techniques too much. It's mostly just impact. So if I want it to be bass, it will be bass, or if I want it to be the stacks like Vocoder's talking about, it will be that. It doesn't. The techniques don't really matter to me that much. It's mostly just the energy. As long as you keep the energy ascending,
Yeah, okay. Back to Bionicles.
please.
You said you were pretty adamant about the lore side of things. So what's your favorite part of the lore?
To be honest, I think the whole web of shadows thing is so interesting, right? If you're looking at like the whole lore of the of them coming over and they're trying to save the Matoran in the pods, and then you have the spider motherfuckers, and just the whole aspect of them turning into their wolf selves, right? Whatever, I don't even remember the names anymore. That's what I should have read up on my lore before I talked to you, actually. But you know, I think that whole saga is sick. Also, the island of Metronui. I mean, come on, that's crazy with the discs. The disc of time. The disc of time, to be honest, a little bit of like a cheap concept, but I mean, look, it is what it is. Makuta Pterodax as well. If we're talking about the global lore, at the very end, when Makuta gets an actual planet thrown at the back of his head, that's pretty crazy, if you ask me. If you get a planet thrown at your head,
that's pretty crazy.
That's pretty crazy, and then
that's wild.
Also, the evolution of them turning into like the great beings. I don't know if I'm such a fan of that, because you never actually see that represented within the sets, right? So when you look at the Bionicle lore, you can kind of follow the storyline of the evolution and all the different universes and stuff, right, with the sets. So you have, your first wave of the island of Matanui and stuff, and you have the first sets, and then you have the Rakshi, and then you have the Borok. So the good guys and the villains are always represented within the sets. Whereas with the very last wave, Bionicle Stars, right, the sets were very lackluster within themselves, so people were quite unhappy, and LEGO were trying to wrap up the franchise. They were like, it's been going on for like way too long, like 8 years or so. I can't remember how long. I think it was right about 8 years. So they're like, we need to wrap this up. And so the sets were lackluster, and then the ending to the lore, they get turned into these great beings, but we never got the great beings as sets, which is a little bit disappointing. But it is what it is. Yeah.
So do you own every Bionicle set?
Not every. I own a few sets from every single wave, though. Yes. I own my favorite sets from every wave, pretty much.
I see, okay.
Except for Brutaka.
Do you own any of the stuff before Bionicles?
No, I do not. That was before my time.
I can't remember the name of the experiment.
It was like, it was like something like Machine Man or something. It was quite a lot more dumbed down.
Yeah.
But no, I never did.
I heard that the inspiration for them was some guy had cancer, and whenever he'd take a pill for it, he would envision it being a little soldier going to fight his cancer.
Right.
And that's why they were sold in like that pill as well.
Exactly. And
it also fit in a vending machine that they had an idea for.
Damn. I did not know that. I did not know about the vending machine.
They wanted to have a little Bionicles vending machine.
That's sick. But the playability of those pods was actually crazy. Because when you had two sets, you take the caps off.
The bikes.
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. It was nuts. Same with the Paraka packaging.
They packed a whole experience into it.
That's what I'm saying. But think about it. Nowadays, you don't really get that with Lego sets, right? You don't get playability within the actual like packaging. It's just a cardboard box.
How do you think Lego could improve nowadays?
I was a big fan of the building system that they had for, not even for just Bionicles, I mean for Hero Factory and stuff, and even some of the Star Wars sets they had, where they had the ball and socket joint building system, right? So it was like, instead of the blocks, they had the skeleton, and then you could put the armor pieces on top and stuff like that. That's completely gone now, as far as I'm aware. They obviously had a reason for it. Either it was too expensive to manufacture, or people just weren't buying it. But for me, that's the only reason I cared. I have normal Lego sets also, but
yeah,
it just doesn't really appeal to me in the same way.
Are there any other franchises that you're a fan of?
I mean, I used to play a lot of Valve games. So things like, Counter-Strike, Team Fortress 2, Half-Life 1 and 2, Left 4 Dead, Portal, all of that. I used to play a lot of games, actually. Not so much anymore, or not at all. Actually. It's a little sad, but
I see.
it is like, you play any games?
I'm going to school for animation.
Oh, let's go.
Oh yeah, I play a lot of games.
What do you play?
I recently downloaded City Skylines, but I
Okay.
haven't had time to sit down and play it because it takes a long time, but
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely worth it. And I've also played I recently played Firewatch. It's a really short
dope.
game, but it's super good. It's like a storytelling game where
I'm familiar.
you're like a protagonist just walking through the woods and stuff. Yeah,
It's really cool. I like the art style of Firewatch. It's crazy.
I play a lot of Minecraft too, of course.
Yeah.
I really like Call of Duty Zombies, the Black Ops Zombies. It's the best.
Are you playing zombies on Plutonium, or are you doing it on console?
I usually do it on console because that's what I grew up with, so it's more
Yeah.
of like a nostalgia thing there.
That makes sense.
I also play Dwarf Fortress. I don't know if you're familiar.
No, I'm not.
It's like a super complicated simulation game.
That sounds interesting.
It's kind of like City Skylines, but you have like a colony of dwarves that you're managing. You have to keep them alive in a world that's like completely randomly generated. And you kind of tell them what you want done, and they decide if they want to do it or not.
That sounds pretty mad.
Kind of have control, but not really.
So they have a
Yeah.
mind of their own, kind of.
If
You're
you-
just like the commander.
Yeah, every dwarf has their own emotions and experiences and feelings, and they like remember things, and the combat system is super advanced. Like it's all a pixelated game, but it keeps track of like how many fingers each dwarf has and how many
Damn.
teeth. So like if they get into a battle and get an arm cut off, they live with that shit for the rest of their life. It's
That's
crazy.
mad. I don't have the time to play anything right now, but I want to play games again. I need you to excuse me for 14 seconds. I'm going to urinate. I'll be right back.
No problem.
Okay, so Dwarf Fortress. The fact that
Yes.
it remembers how many fingers they have is a little bit mental. The fingers part is like an
Yeah,
extra
it
detail.
also generates like 100 years of lore before you even start.
like Bionicles.
You're inside of a world that is already alive and has had history and things happen,
That's crazy.
and you just pick a spot to settle down.
and it's like a pixel art game.
It's a two-dimensional top-down game, but there's multiple layers, so like when you scroll with your mouse, you go up a level and you can see what's on that level, or you scroll down. Cuz they're dwarves and they like to
I
mine. So
see.
you got to go deeper.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's super cool. I think definitely watch some videos on it before you play it cuz there's a steep learning curve.
I
But-
believe it.
It's worth it.
Might have found another time sink. That's fantastic. That's exactly what I needed right now.
Yeah. Do you want to do a little jam?
I don't mind. It's completely up to you. If you want to do a little jam, I could do a little jam.
All right. Yeah. We could pass it back and forth a little bit.
Okay, let's do it.
Show the people what you do for those who don't know.
It'll be raw microphone as you want.
Yeah, sounds good.
Nice.
All right. Solid.
Sound. Thank you.
So, have you done any like live shows outside of battles?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Stuff like a lot of workshop-based stuff. So first you give a workshop and then you give a performance. A lot of it just, normal solo performances, and then we do a few performances with the Irish Beatbox Association. Around the Dublin area.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just the Irish beatbox community, and we have a good few beatboxers there.
Oh, okay.
We do shows every now and then when people call on us, when people need a beatboxer, and there's a good few of us, and the level's quite nice too. So it's always a pleasure to do shows with them.
What's the community like?
Oh, loads of absolute mental cunts. I love them. Yeah, the Irish community is very nice, very very welcoming, very open, and very fun. Fun bunch of lads. I'll say that much.
Solid.
How about where you're from?
I'm from upstate New York, so there's not a lot of beatbox culture out here. I'm actually trying to plan an event to like bring more awareness to it in the area. But we up and down the East Coast, we have all sorts of beatboxers. Like up on the American side, it's crazy. But I think in the city, the closest like good beatboxers nearby are probably like Chrysales and oh man, Gene,
Right.
Napalm's in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm in right in between all of them there.
It's just the fact that the landmass in America is so big that, like, you're in the same country, but realistically, you're like miles away.
I'm going to American Champs this year, and it's
Okay.
pretty close. It's in Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh. So it'll be a nice trip down there. I think I said Napalm was from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He might be from Philly, but I might be getting those mixed up.
I'm not sure at all. So
Yeah.
I'm trusting your word on this one.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a pretty nice event. I'm training a tag team for the first time this year.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever participated with the tag team, but
I have done.
Do you got any tips for battling?
I am definitely not the person to give you tips on tag team. But yeah,
I see.
Spend as much time as you can with the partner. That's it. Because I definitely didn't do that. But
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
We plan on getting together every Thursday until the event, and we're working on a wild card now. So hopefully it'll turn out.
Mm-hmm. I wish you guys luck. I hope you guys get in.
I'm also going to try and compete for the solos as well. I actually did a battle right before this podcast, and I got barbecued.
Oh.
I battled Duxie. I don't know if you're familiar with like the online scene.
There's no shame in being barbecued by Duxie. He barbecues me too. So it's fine.
It was a pretty good battle though. I think I'm definitely improving, and I look forward to performing live again.
That's dope. That's really dope. I see the Bush posters behind you.
Yeah.
Were you at the Bush battle?
Oh yeah. I've gone to everyone since the first one. I'm actually making the animations for it this year.
That's dope.
And my tag team partner's editing the videos.
That's
So
a job and a
it's a
half.
nice little group we got. Yeah, it's I'm trying to teach him click roll right now, so he has
Okay.
more inward sounds.
Get some air into his belly.
I recently learned the lip roll, but I'm trying to make it more confident with beats. I like just broke through like a week or two ago,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm trying to make it stronger. What are your signature sounds?
My signature sounds. I mean, I definitely the vibration bass. That's the one. And then probably my whistle basses. So this one and the and that. That's just to give credit.
Solid.
To give credit, this sound. I did not invent this. This is a Latvian beatboxer by the name of CMZ made this sound. He's a friend of mine. He's a sick cunt. So every time I can, I want to give credit on that sound because it's technically not mine. Yeah.
Do you have any that you feel like you've invented?
Do I have any that I feel like I've invented? I mean, I don't think I've invented any techniques per se. I think I'm the first to do a few variations. So a lot of the polyphonic stack variations of different sounds. I think I'm the first to do. I think the dish snare with the polyphonic, which I'm ill now, so it won't come out. That kind of stuff. I think I'm the first to do that. Same with the CMZ whistle with the polyphonic. It's like a triple stack. Definitely the first to do that.
Yeah.
And same with the. But in terms of actually inventing a technique, no, I don't think so. I don't think I've actually done anything like that.
I mean, you've definitely pioneered some stuff so far. Is there anything that you want to talk about before we get out of here? Do we miss anything?
Let me have a think.
Yeah.
What is your... I want to ask you some questions. What is your...
All right.
What is your end goal with beatboxing? What is like the thing where you're like, if I could, this is where I would be with beatbox?
Well, I want to have a content production studio where all kinds of up and coming creators are welcome to use the space as they see, because beatboxing is quite a niche medium, but it can fit in a lot of places, and I feel like having a facility that focuses on that, but not just that, a lot of other things, it would be a very welcoming environment, and that's what I'm striving towards, because I'm also an animator as well, so it would be cool to have an animation studio and a beatbox studio in the same place. That also allows like YouTubers or people who just need a studio to record in to come look at ideas or think stuff out. That's like my ultimate goal.
That's a really good idea. That's really fat. I mean, it's a really future conscious idea, and I think it's really smart in the way where you're not like bottlenecking yourself just to one art form. So in that way,
Yeah.
that's like fantastic. So I wish you absolutely all the best and all the luck with that. That's fat. I want to come round when it's done.
What's your final goal?
My final goal. I think I would just want to make music. I think that's about it. I just want to make music that people enjoy, and so I can express myself in the way I want to, and that's that. I don't really want to. I don't want to do battles forever. I'm just kind of using it as a medium to have a platform for my music as of now.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard some other beatboxers say that once they battled enough times, it just became like, do I just want to go back on that stage and win again for the fourth time, or like what am I doing here? And they had to really like rethink what they were doing once they reached a certain level of like, I'm beating everyone. I should probably seek other options.
Right. I don't think it's so much beating everyone.
I like what the beatbox house is doing.
Yeah, what they're doing is dope. They're like they're expanding into a bunch of different areas, and even on their solo projects, like the people within Beatbox House, like I like what everybody's doing. I want to see more of Kenny Urban though. I want to see more of what
Yeah.
Kenny's doing. But yeah.
I'm trying to get him on the show. Him and I have talked about it a couple times, but we've never like lined up for a date.
He should come through. Kenny Urban, if you're watching this, show up, man. Show up, Kenny. Fucking hell, man. It's not that deep. Jesus Christ. Come in. But yeah. No, I absolutely, it's my pleasure to come through. I'm enjoying myself here.
Yeah, solid. I like to have a the idea of the show now is to give artists, or it's not really like specific to beatboxers, but that's kind of what I've had on.
Mhm.
I just want to give people a space to tell their story and just like talk about what they are interested in, because I know there's more people who are interested in it and want to hear about it.
Yeah, that's true.
I was pretty surprised when you answered my DM. So
I mean, I look through.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone, but I do look through my requests. Contrary to what I tell some people.
I see.
But yeah, it's also
Solid.
it's
Yeah.
nice. I enjoy your the fact that you're talking to a lot of beatboxers, because the general public don't really see the personality side of the beatboxers much. You know, it's like they see them in the battle videos, and then they might
Yeah.
see like a vlog or two, but that's about it.
I like giving a personality to the name, because even with like an artist, you'll listen to their music and you just like, you don't really get a lot from them. Maybe you get some emotions from what they say or the lyrics that they talk about, but it's good to sit down and chat with them and like really go in depth.
Right. See how the gears turn.
Really puts like a, yeah, exactly.
See how much rust is in there. See how much debris and pebbles are grinding up in there, making mulch. With all the moisture coming out of their skull,
Yeah.
like seeping in and then creating scree. You familiar with scree?
I'm not familiar with Scree.
Scree is when a permeable rock, so a rock that accepts moisture, right? Absorbs moisture, and then the water freezes, and due to expansion, the rock chips off in small pieces, and this chippage is called scree.
I see. Okay. And
Yeah.
and that's how your beatbox sounds are made. Yeah.
I think my beatbox sounds like scree sometimes. Yeah, definitely. It sounds like erosion. Yeah, mechanical erosion.
I think B-Art has a similar mechanical erosion style.
Yeah, VR. I think VR is the pioneer of mechanical erosion beatbox, which is actually funny you say that, because B-Art for the longest time, and still probably, is one of my favorite beatboxers. Like, he's a big inspiration for me beatbox wise. So it's really funny that you say that.
Yeah, he is for me too. I had him on the show a while back, but I didn't have everything like fully put together, so the episode didn't turn out that great, and I lost the video footage. So I'd love to have him back on again and chat and have a nice quality podcast.
Yeah, do it. You should ask him about mechanical erosion
Yeah, definitely.
for sure.
Well, you got any more questions?
I don't think so. Not at the top of my head. I think I'm pretty satisfied with Bionicles.
Solid.
I'm so sorry I made you watch that 48-minute video on Bionicle lore. You really didn't have to do that.
No problem. I enjoyed it. It was interesting. I like learning about niche lore.
Yeah. This is definitely.
I also play Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah.
I'm deep into it.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything to add.
Would you like to plug anything?
Sure. I am Osis BBX on everything. So YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I don't post on TikTok. I don't know what you'd follow me on there. I don't know why you'd use that app, but I'm on there if you care. Follow me on YouTube. That's the main thing. That's where I put my music. And then Instagram if you care. Oh yeah. If you want to learn
Solid.
beatbox, buy my lessons.
What's I didn't know you did lessons. What's your lesson teaching style?
It's very I think for a lot of people tastes, it's kind of educational. It's very like I am the teacher, and we go back and forward, and I give you methods to advance within your own style. I don't like to enforce my style onto people, like tell people, okay, this is how you should do this. I don't enjoy that. I like saying, what is your goal? Okay, this is the way you can try with your style to achieve that goal that you have. To sound like you, not to sound like me. Because if I tell you how I would do it, then you just do it like I would do it, and that's not the point. The point is that you learn beatbox, not that I tell you how I beatbox. Right?
Definitely.
It's very much student focused.
I guess I'll let you go because it's midnight for you now. So
Yeah, but I'm running on Irish time in Latvia.
thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I much appreciate it. It's been loads of fun.
Good luck with the GBB battle. I hope
Thank
it
you.
goes well, and hopefully you can defeat Black Roll once and for all.
Yeah, fuck you, Black Roll. I'm just joking. I like it. We're friends.
Well, this has been Highly Intelligent with Osis. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And you guys have a good time.